trust the weather, man.
If you ever wanted to learn how to take rough, rutted ground and turn it into a smooth yard, today's the day. We've got the perfect attachment to put on our tractor to do just that. So sit back and enjoy your coffee and watch us fight the rain as we turn our rough, rutted house site into a lawn and driveway area. Can't tell by looking at the ruts. Look at the bouncing of my head and you'll see just how rough this ground is. And in less than an hour, we're going to work this ground into a nice smooth area.
Well, hey there, hobby homesteaders. Welcome back to Peak's Peak. My name's Lucas. We're sharing our hobbies here on 38 acres in eastern Kentucky. And today, I'm out here with the locusts and the clouds to see if I can't smooth out this area where we're going to build our house. Now, I hired JD and his boys to come in here and excavate this, clear it off, get it ready for a house, and they did just that. And they did a really good job of fixing the site and even leveling it out at the time. But it was really damp, really soggy, and you just couldn't drive around in here much. And then of course I had to have equipment in and out of here. We had to have our blocks delivered, all sorts of things going on. So we left big ruts, and now it's all a mess. And I have a really cool tool that I have been dying for this type of situation to use, and that is the TYM 3707 land plane. This is a dual blade grader that's built by Ironcraft and sold under the TYM name. And I used it a little bit on my driveway, but I just haven't had a time and a need to get it out and work it like I want to learn how to use it. So I've got all of 25 minutes before the rain hits. I want to do what I can to get these ruts filled in before the rain comes. So that's what I'm going to try to accomplish. May not do a lot of talking, probably going to just bear down and see what I can get done. But if I'm going to get anything done tonight, I got to get to work.
Now you can see as I start my first pass across this ground that it's rough. The tractor's bouncing around and I had to move pretty slowly. But each pass that we made, we gathered up roots and rocks. And really after the first pass, you could tell a big difference in how smooth the ride was as we drove around.
Man, this thing's going to do the business. Tractor has loads of power. This is a 7-foot dual blade grader, and I can't drive any faster because it's too rough. Beats me to death, but plenty of power, easy to pull.
Now I think the one thing that surprised me the most about this attachment is when you use a box blade and you gather up roots and rocks like this, they eventually work their way under that back blade, but somehow the land plane seems to gather them up and move them up out of the way so that you can continue to pull, and then when you get to the far end, all you have to do is raise it up and then you can back push them off of the yard, and so you've gathered them up and cleaned up the area. So after that first pass, we were able to pick up the pace a little bit, move a little bit faster, and it's a good thing because the rain was coming fast.
The weather, man. I thought I had 25 minutes. I think think I got 10, but I almost got it done. That's crazy. I mean, really, this thing is the beast. I can't wait to be able to get out here and really finish working this over. I'm gathering up my cameras and trying to get in out of this pouring rain. I just got a lightning notice. That's my cue. But look, now you saw what that looked like before. She's smooth as silk in like 10 minutes. Should have left work early today. Yeah, there ain't enough hours in the day. But God takes care of us. It's all good. Man, I'm so. You know what's awesome? I ain't going all the way down the hill. I am headed to my new equipment shed. Let's see if I can swing this thing back in there. I ain't smart enough to get in out of the rain. 85 hours. Well, got all my cameras packed up, wading out the rain, getting ready to get in the side-by-side and head on down to the house, and it quit. Check the radar and it looks like it's kind of, the rest of it's gonna go south of us. So I thought, man, with that little bit of moisture in the soil, it might help me kind of pack it in real good and get a better finish on this if I go over there and run around it just a little bit more and kind of work it in. So, let's do this. Yeah, this thing is the berries. I've never had anything quite like it. I mean, a box blade just won't do this, guys. So this time I worked it for about 40 minutes. And, you know, this ground was all woods before I had an excavator come in and pull all the trees out. But I was fully expecting to have a big mess of roots and not be able to pull this through it, kind of have a mess there. But that wasn't the case. I only got stopped twice by roots, and that was right near the edges of the forest. So that worked out great. The other thing is, it seemed to clean up a lot of the roots and rocks. So what I could do is pull to the end, and then I would raise up the plane and back up just a little bit to loosen all the roots from the scarifiers. And then once I had them loose, then I would pull past them and back and push them back into the woods. And you'll see some of that on camera. But now, I just decided I've got this pretty smoothed out, and we've got rain coming this weekend. Tomorrow for sure, and Sunday. I don't know if it's gonna rain anymore tonight, but I decided I'm just gonna drive around it and kind of pack it in a little bit. Kind of get it to where it won't hold water in any ruts or anything like that, and it won't be real mushy to drive on if it gets wet. Hopefully it'll be packed in enough for that. So I'm gonna pack it all in here, and then I'll get off and show you the final product. Well guys, I'm absolutely thrilled with what we were able to do in just 2 hours, and that includes stopping for the rain. We ran the TYM 4820 with the 3707 Ironcraft TYM dual plane grader, or land plane as most of you know them. And I only ran the land plane for about an hour, and then I started just kind of walking it in because we have rain coming, and I just wanted to kind of make sure that it didn't turn it into a big mushy mess. You know, when you loosen up all the soil, then the first rain comes, and if you have to drive on it, you're gonna just sink to China because everything on top's just all mushy. So I thought if I packed it in, it might help some of that, because more of the water should be able to run off rather than just sitting there and soaking into the mud. I have one spot that was kind of the one we were struggling with before that is still a little bit damp right here, and so I had to watch. I couldn't drive over it too many times because it was going to turn back into a rut. But this was all area that was just difficult to even walk in. when we were up here working, you had to just kind of, you know, choose your path and be careful because it was hard to walk in because it was rough, big old ruts, and you know, you run the side by side off in it and bounce your head off the roll bar and everything else. But now it's close to where it needs to be. We've got a long ways to go on this house. So it's gonna be a long time before we do anything like driveway and grass and all of those things. So what roots are still there and sticking up, they're gonna have some time to rot and die off and all of that. We'll be doing some more work in here to get our final process completed. It looks so much better. Like, I was editing my video today where Caden and I put the block sealer on, and I was thinking, man, that site looks so nasty because the yard is such a mess. Looks a lot better now. Guys, probably 6 or 8 months ago, Ironcraft sent me this land plane and asked me to put out some videos on it, demonstrating it. And we did one driveway video, but then after that, we didn't have a lot of opportunity to do anything. So this has been the perfect opportunity, and I want to thank them again for sending us this land plane to do this work for them and be able to use it on our property. This is just amazing. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Until next time, get outside and enjoy God's creation because it's beautiful out here, even when it's pouring rain. I had a good time. Y'all have a good day.